Fast and inexpensive, email is replacing paper in much modern business communication. There are some hazards to using email, however. In this lesson, you will learn to take best advantage of email's strengths while avoiding its weaknesses. Email has several advantages over traditional paper correspondence. For example, composed quickly on screen, email messages are relayed at the speed of light, allowing for fast messaging and fast response. Email provides for rapid written communication with both on-site workers and far-off customers, and it can carry attachments for review and comment. Replies to emails can be made instantaneously and can include the original correspondence, creating a clear electronic trail. Email is also easily saved for later retrieval. And because there is no expense for paper or postage, email is a cost-efficient means of communication. However, business people need to be aware of email's potential disadvantages. For instance, because of email's ease of use, many hastily written and unimportant messages are sent. Due to its electronic nature, email can malfunction or simply get lost in transit, arriving late, or even disappearing altogether. Sometimes it can even be intercepted by an unintended reader. Reading from a computer screen is more difficult than reading from paper, which leads some people to avoid email or ignore it. And in general, email is less highly regarded than hard copy correspondence, which makes it less than ideal for very important messages. As a business person, you must decide when email is appropriate. For more formal business correspondence, you may wish to use hard copy. But for inter-office messages or less formal notes to clients, an email can be quick, practical, and economical. An email consists of two main sections, the mailing information and the message area. Different email programs display this content differently, so check your own email program for exact details. Let your program's help feature be your friend. The mailing information of an email identifies the sender by name and/or email address, the primary recipient or recipients, any additional people to receive a copy, recipients of a blind copy, identified on their copy only, of course, the subject of the email, and any files attached to the email. An email address consists of a username, an @ symbol, and a mail server name. Be sure the spelling is exactly correct, with no spaces, or your message will never reach its destination. Fortunately, email programs generally include an address book or contacts list to keep track of email addresses you commonly use. The subject line on an email message is, if anything, even more important than on a memo. In many email programs, the user sees and judges your subject line before deciding whether to open your message. A well-phrased subject line also makes electronic searches easier in case your reader wants to find your message again at a later date. The attachment line identifies any electronic files accompanying the email. These may be text documents, spreadsheets, graphics, or even sound recordings. The bigger the file size of any attachments, however, the longer the email will take to send and receive. For a dial-up connection to the net, a large attachment could take hours, and some email servers refuse to accept attachments over a particular size. The message area holds your text. It should consist of an opening that greets readers and introduces the topic, a middle that expands upon that topic, and a polite conclusion that identifies any action the reader should take. To write a successful email message, follow these 4 basic steps: pre-write, draft, revise, and refine. For pre-writing, ask yourself, what should my email accomplish? What is its purpose? Who are my readers, and how will they respond to this message? What response do I need from them? what information do I need to provide for my readers? With these things in mind, begin a list of points and details to be included in your message. To draft your email, develop your list into sentences. In the opening, use a personal greeting if appropriate, and then state your reason for writing. In the middle, provide details your reader will want or need. In the closing, state the result or action your memo calls for. Then, sign off politely. Remember, though, that in an email, brevity is essential. If necessary, include any long or detailed information in an attachment rather than in the email message itself. Once the message is finished, read through it again to make sure it contains all the information your readers need, is well organized, has smooth sentences and clear transitions, and is written in a friendly but professional tone. Use lists, headings, and white space to improve your message's legibility. And before clicking the send button, take time to refine your email by double-checking word choice, spelling, and grammar. Also check whether you have included any attachments mentioned in your message. Attachments are commonly forgotten. For email communication to work effectively, check often for new messages, at least at the beginning and end of each day. Reply promptly when requested, even if only to acknowledge receipt and promise a fuller response later. The reply button on your email program will automatically fill in the mailing information for your response. Don't send unwanted email, however. This is called spamming, and it makes people less likely to pay attention to any of your messages. Also, your company owns and is legally responsible for all email on its network, so never send anything you wouldn't want your employer to read. Never send an angry or sarcastic email. This is called flaming, and no one respects it. Also, use all caps sparingly, because they are difficult to read, and many people take them as shouting. Avoid initialisms and emoticons in business email. Initialisms, such as IMHO for "in my humble opinion," risk being incomprehensible and even insulting to those unfamiliar with them. And while emoticons, such as a colon, hyphen, and left parentheses for a sideways smiley face, can add a friendly touch to casual email, they are generally considered unprofessional in business correspondence. As you become more practiced with sending email, you will find it an ever more effective tool for fast, efficient business communication.